Chapter E-E, the city walls of Beijing stood tall and majestic, like giants towering there. Yuxi looked at the city walls in surprise. Since escaping from the manor she had been working for half a month, enduring the cold and hunger. Finally, she was about to return home. The guards on the city wall looked at Yuxi and knocked hard on the city gate, shouting, "Get away quickly. If you don't move, don't blame me for being impolite." The city gates of the capital had been closed a month ago. Without an imperial edict, no one was allowed to enter or exit. Yuxi looked up and shouted, "I'm not a refugee. I'm a young lady from the Duke of Han's mansion. Please open the city gate and let me in." The gatekeeper found it rather amusing. Now, anyone seemed to be able to tell all sorts of lies about their life. "Why don't you say you're the queen's sister?" The soldier sneered. The current queen was from the Duke of Han's mansion. This woman said she was a girl from the Duke's mansion, but she surely wasn't the queen's sister. Yuxi immediately shouted, "The Empress is truly my younger sister. She and the queen were half-sisters." There was a burst of laughter at the city gate. The soldiers guarding the city were too lazy to argue. Using force to intimidate was the most effective way to deal with such people. The young soldier drew his bow and arrow, ready to shoot the woman below the city wall. However, he was stopped by a bearded soldier. The bearded man said coldly, "Put down the bow and arrow. Starting with a defenseless woman and child, aren't you ashamed? Those bandits who couldn't kill real enemies but only bullied women and children were no heroes." The young soldier put down the bow and arrow, not daring to shoot anymore. The bearded man shouted to Yuxi, "There's a refugee camp in the west. If you want to survive, go west." He showed this woman a way to live. As the sky gradually darkened and the wind blew, Yuxi shivered with cold. Now, she had to lean on the stick in her hand and walk step by step towards the refugee camp in the west. There were too many victims. The imperial court was worried that if these people weren't properly resettled, there would be unrest. So every day a piece of land was allocated to them in the west, and they were given 2 meals of porridge, so that they wouldn't cause trouble. The refugees had built many wooden huts, but these huts that were draft-proof and watertight didn't have a place for Yuxi. A woman in the refugee camp led her to a thatched shed built with branches and leaves and said, "The person who originally lived in this thatched shed died this morning. It's just empty now, you can live here." Yuxi's bloodless face turned even paler. Her lips moved for a long time before she managed to say, "Thank you."